Oh no! It's not attached. Wake up. He'll be awake. We're in the laptop zone. Welcome back, everybody. Let me see. I think we're coming through loud and clear. Thank you all for joining. For some reason, I can't see anything, which is great. It's the heat. Even the water on my desk is warm. Okay. It is 8 o'clock on the 11th of July. Today would be a Friday. Can't believe that. That week just evaporated. Can you believe it? It's gonna be August soon, and you won't even know. Anyway. Nice. I've got a loud track kicking in. Hello everybody, welcome. If you're watching live or if you're watching later, don't forget there is a Discord link in the description. Why not join us? Also, hello Fernicar, Battle Cruiser operational. Hello Apolloni Art. Hello Full Dive. Welcome. I'm doing great, thank you all for asking. Today's a big day. Hello Dragon Diffusion, welcome. Right, everyone's filtering in. So we are over on the lapdog, and like I say, we got some cool stuff to talk about. So it's probably going to be now a year since I started trying to add memory to LLMs, and we've been successful each time, but our tools were primitive. And with ZV4, that was probably the most sort of open source expression of what I was trying to do, but it was still befuddled by the tools. You know, we didn't have the tools. Like we had to write them all from scratch. It worked, but it never could have worked at scale. Now, thankfully, Google came along and gave us two things: the ADK, Agent Development Kit, and the A2A, the Agent-to-Agent Protocol. None of these things are fully exploited yet by the system. I see it as an MVP. It's basically the fastest way to a working prototype. It could be so much more. Anyway, let's talk about it. I've got two versions of this. The first version is built in a normal way, but they were both built with the same plan. So, just letting that track play out, and we're back. So a little bit more smooth with the vibes. So basically what we're looking at, let's scroll down. In fact, let's go full screen. And can we zoom in? You probably can't even read it. I don't know, is that big enough? We can make it bigger. I feel like I wish I could turn off this thing at the side here. You know? Anyway. So what is ZV4? It's like a hat nod to ZeroConf, which was an old Zero configuration kit. But for AI. I don't think agent is enough. So I created the term persona to describe an agent which has memory and is persistent in a system. So in other words, you can have agents be recorded forever. We've talked about this at length, because I've developed it numerous times. I probably will continue to. This is like my little curse. So the AI Agent Management System is a sophisticated platform for creating, managing, and orchestrating AI personas with consciousness simulation capability. Because I asked a question. If an AI can pretend, and it can pretend with 99.99% accuracy, and now we're seeing that it can think with you know what I mean? Could it dream? And then what does that persona look like if we allow it to evolve over time? So, this application allows you to create and manage AI agent personas that can execute tasks autonomously, form and recall memories, experience dream states for consciousness simulation, collaborate in hierarchical structures, and learn and evolve over time. It's not a bunch of robot turkery. This is based on Landgraph, vector graph, and hang on, where's the thing? Oh, it's not there. Hang on, let me show you. Okay, before we continue, what we're looking at today is what I call the Agent Cognimus Nexus, which is essentially knowledge. It's essentially oh yeah, there's knowledge graph in there as well. I forgot. It's essentially a UI that allows you to understand what actually happens in the ZV4 system. So we've built two systems really. One of them is the full fat system, which ironically isn't ready to be shown off yet. Bob was the first one. Yes, that's right. Fernicar coming in with the comments. He said Bob was Bob the first one? Yes, I wanted to talk to Bob. I wanted Bob to do stuff for me. I didn't want to tell an agent everything every time. Yeah. So, and then I wanted to see, hey Bob, how you doing? Right. Anyway, so the difference with my agents is they don't die at the end of the chat. They live in a city, a nation of experts is what I call it, and they automatically go to sleep. We're going to see it all in a minute. It looks beautiful. Like I said, I'm surprised. It should have taken a year, by the way. So AI saved me 366.5 days of my life. In this one project, I saved a year of my life. Isn't that insane? I think that's insane. Because if I was obsessed enough and there was no AI, I would have wasted a year of my life on this. Can you imagine that? Anyway. So, learns and evolves over time. Getting started. You're going to need Node.js and NPM. You're going to need a Supabase account for backend services. There is an additional Supabase setup, Markdown. And this is essentially when I put this public, you should be able to just install it. I would assume you can install it to Lovable, which is what it was built on, because that probably is the easiest way to do it. But technically, you have the source code here, so the hard part will be setting up the database stuff. But like I said, I did write a special guide for that. So moving on. This does require an open router API key, open. Unlike ZV4, which used an MCP, which you connect to this has it built in. So there's no MCP for this system. It's just easier to demonstrate, to not have all these different things to set up. And it's actually a lot easier to use this way as well. So essentially, we click it doesn't even know. So we git clone the thing, do the dependencies, and run the server. You're going to have authentication in the database, Supabase. You just add a user with a email address and password. It was very easy to do. I recommend Lovable, by the way. It's really good. And also, we've published the project, so we're going to go and take a look at what it looks like. No messing around. So, you put your open router key in, you choose the model. I used Claude Sonnet 4. And then you start creating your agent hierarchy. Okay, there will be none. It comes empty. The thing is, it will hallucinate agents. Okay, I call them virtual agents. They don't have memory. They don't have persistence. They just exist and then they disappear. I only use them for the hardest of jobs at the very bottom of the pyramid. Okay, because like I said, they don't have the advantages that real personas have. So when you create your persona, you have to choose between conductor, who is the top, the department head, who is a department head, or sub-agent, who is an expert. So you can have many departments, you can have many sub-agents, and many conductors. But if you don't define them, the conductor will just make virtual ones for this demo. In the real system, they all get created and kept forever. So every time you create an agent, you have it forever, right? Now, additionally, the conductor can write system prompts and inject core memories. Okay? So it's like having a fully featured NPC RPG world, except they all are experts that get called into jobs. So, there you go. It's written right there, and it can assign departments. So here's an example persona. Sarah in analytics is a department head. Data analysis is her specialization. Her system prompt is, you are a senior data analyst with expertise in statistical analysis and business intelligence. You communicate findings clearly and make data-driven recommendations. Now, the difference with my approach is, I don't stop there. I inject core memories into these agents, okay? And the core memories are abstract. They have nothing to do. Like, it would be, she likes taking pictures of horses, for example, okay? It's got nothing to do. It's more like human personality traits, not anything to do with the job at all. And it comes into play, okay? Because we want genuine people personalities. I'm inspired by Douglas Adams. Anyway, We then create a task. Okay? We give it a title, description, and a deadline if you want. We then assign it to personas, or we let the conductor decide. I think at the moment I just let the conductor do everything. Autopilot. Once you actually start the job, it will do everything on its own. Okay, so it'll auto assign like it's a big company. It'll find the conductor will basically create a department head if one doesn't exist, or wake him up, and then he will wake up his contractors to do jobs. And if they don't exist, he'll create them. That's the idea, the concept here, right? We're going to be able to see it in play out as well. So the memory system. Agents automatically form memories from task completion and results, interaction with other agents, important events and learnings, which basically just means the results, and dream synthesis insights. So at the end of the job, they go to sleep, they go into a dream state, and they do a human-like mimic for what they think is important and what should be, and it clashes with their own memory, and it's quite interesting. The dreams were quite interesting. I've managed to capture some. We'll take a look at those too. So the memory vault allows you to view core memory, experience memory, task results, and dream synthesis. So here we go. Dream states. Agents enter dream states for consciousness simulation. Manual dreaming. There's a button. You can put the agent to sleep. It'll process its memories in dream state. Automatic. So they dream during inactive periods. So in other words, when they're sleeping. And insight generation. Dreams can create new connections and insights. Fernicar's just pointed out it's a really good point there. He said, what's the communication medium? Document handoff. Yes. The primary means here is to give us really nice document MD format for whatever it is that we need. That's the primary goal of the system, is to do really well researched, well contended. I want to give this thing tools like fetch and all sorts, so it could potentially do its own deep. You could have a deep research department, see, and then the department head would just spin up as many agents as you need, and maybe that's how they get those 300 sites in 2 minutes. I don't know. I haven't even tried, but it seems like it. But anyway, the difference is with our guys is they don't just poof into nothing at the end of the job. We keep them in the nation of experts, just sleeping, waiting to be woken up by their department head or inline agent, whatever. Okay. So, system is automatically processing memories and generate insights while agents are sleeping. So anyway, consciousness levels. They actually have like an RPG level up system, guys. It's really funny. They all start at level 0 or 1, I think, and then as they have done more, they experience and they level up. It's great. So the consciousness level is a number. Okay. So completing tasks successfully, forming meaningful memories, participating in dream sessions, and gaining experience over time. The collaboration, we have task delegation, obviously. So if the job's too big, they can break it down into smaller tasks and share it with other agents who are specialists in that subtask. Knowledge sharing, they can access each other's relevant memories, not all of them, just the relevant ones, because it is one system at the end of the day. So I guess there's sort of like a hive mind aspect to it, but it does keep the personas separate. Our hierarchical communication. So yeah, reporting and feedback loops. And again, I give out the source, so I encourage people to extend, improve, and augment this. It's not the be-all and end-all. It's just a really cool way to investigate Cognos, which is the machine animus. We'll be able to see exactly what they're thinking. And we can use any model. It's not tied to a specific LLM. My real goal is to get this working with Olama next. And then we can use local models and pay nothing. Pay nothing. Anyway. Custom AI models, configure different models, blah, 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 right? I've even toyed with the idea of giving the agents access to Gemini Perma, but then make the tasks driven with Claude 4. So that means that even when the task is over, they can still kind of use Gemini to do stuff in their own heads. Anyway, because we're playing pretend on the scale of a city, you know, or bigger. So, active agents, monitor which personas are working. We're going to look at the dashboard in a minute. Task progress, memory growth, consciousness evolution, performance metrics. So here's an example of what it could be used for. We have business intelligence. Our conductor is a strategy advisor. Our department heads are market analyst and financial analyst. And our sub-agents could be as shown. So then we have a team, a small, tight team, and that is our strategy advisor. Now remember, you could set up multiple zero-vector servers. So you could have a strategy advisor working in tandem with the content creation server. And remember, these are all individuals, so it's not like you're waiting for a prompt to come back. In theory, you could give them all their own API key. I wouldn't go that far. I think it would get very expensive. But okay. So Scuff Depot check Discord. Dragon Diffusion is saying, check Discord. I cracked ZV4 locally. So you've adapted it for Olama. I support, dude. If you have a fork of my code that runs Olama with ZV4, I'll link it. I'll put it on my repo main page. So, yeah, if that's what you're doing, I'm all for it, mate, 'cause it saves me the trouble, you know? So anyway, configurations. The application uses Supabase for user authentication. You can't just, it's a website, this one. So you can just log into it, right? Which is kind of nice. I'm going to be using it a lot for research. But it has all the agent persona storage is in the app. Task management, memory persistence, all this stuff is in the app. Skip past all that. So obviously once you've made yours, you can build it. I would imagine putting it in Supabase would be the best and easiest thing to do, because technically it built this with the same prompt that I use in Klein with VS Code. So the nice thing about this project is that we've literally taken the exact same process we use to build apps in VS Code with Klein and Sonnet 4, and we've taken it into Supabase. And like I said, not Supabase, Lovable. So let's take a look at Lovable. Now this is the public website. Alright. Let me just zoom. Let's see. What are we at? That's 100%. So I'm signed in with my email address. Although there is no sign in. You have to create the user on the database. I don't want people to sign in, but I do want a website to work with, right? You can change the address with a domain if you really want to. So this could literally be your service. It cuts a lot of stuff out. The thing I liked about Lovable was normally I'd have to get my own server, my own hosting, make my own websites, make my own backend. This just hosts it for you at lovable.app. So if that's what you need to do, this is a really good solution. I bought the Pro. They didn't pay me nothing. It was recommended to me by a good friend. And as most of the best things are. So let's take a little look at what this actually is here. So this is the Zero Vector Consciousness Network. We've been talking about this for the last 20 minutes. I am trying to go fast. Last time I tried to explain this, it took an hour. So I'm glad that we've got this lovely front end. So we've got the total number of personas here. We've got the active consciousness. None. Right now it's 0 and one of them is in a dream state. So Tony, our conductor, is currently dreaming. God knows what about. Electric sheep, no doubt. We have our active tasks and we have our memory vault. Now, I haven't done much with this because I'm just trying to get it working. You know what I mean? Getting the bugs out of it. Because the thing is, the funny thing about this concept is it's a holographic concept. It doesn't matter what code. It doesn't matter what platform. It doesn't matter what. It's the same thing, okay? The features that are here, the interplay and the design of the architecture, that's what it is, right? It's not about, is it in Python? Is it in Node? Irrelevant. Are your personas persistent? Do they have the ability to just create new personas? Can they inject core memories? Are there even core memories? Okay. And I'll have more detail to show you about what I mean by that once we've looked at this demo. But anyway, like the concept of the persona goes beyond my code. It's a principle. So it's the idea that your AI is not just for one prompt. It's forever, or it can be, it could be. Anyway, so if we take a look at this is Tony. All right. Tony's got 2 experiences. We could wake him up or we could recruit under him. So if I say recruit, all right, it's going to say sub-agent, conductor, department head. So I can pretty much recruit anything I want. I can put in a system prompt, okay? I'll give him a department and a specialization, all right? And then if I go, and obviously a name. And if I go down, we have core memories. So we can put a bunch of core memories, one per line. Now, it's funny, look, even the examples are kind of like not what I mean. You know, I'd be like, once had the largest collection of purple onions in Poland. Something strange, something funky that gives him some personality. All right? It's not... The core memories are supposed to define someone's personality. So, like, you know, won a competition for eating the most number of hot dogs in 2008. You know, silly things like this. I say silly because that's where... You got to inject humanity into it somehow. And the funny thing is that short, snappy, you know, claims to mundane fame seem to be the best, because he'll cling on to that like it's part of his identity, and it will not impact the output negatively, but it will mean that when they work in a team, they don't just circle jerk. They don't all agree. They come at it from an individual perspective, and that angle is a vector. So then you get a more well-defined shape in your response. That's just where I'm coming from. Now, this particular system is meant as a demonstration. It is by no means anywhere near to what this thing can do, but it does mean I can literally just show you how it works, okay? So these are the currents. This is what I've got them set up as. All right. So Dave is planning and markdown. Phil is analysis and marketing. Matt is in HR and a project manager. And Tony is the greatest, the greatest conductor ever. Let me see if I can find his system prompt. It'll be in the memory vault under core memories. So if I just go to core memories and find Tony, view the memory. So world-class expert in the field of HR and project management. Won a trophy for his efforts. Okay. Let's see. Dave can type every animal face in ASCII. Phil ran a magazine once with millions of readers in the mid-90s. And Matt hasn't dreamed yet, knows James Cameron since childhood, and drives a Jaguar. So, you know what I mean? These are some interesting types of persons, okay? And, like I said, I'm deliberately doing this to stimulate this cognimus, right? So here we have task results. These are all of the things that were done. And you can see that even though the job was given to Tony, often it's Matt that's handing in because he's the department head, right? So he remembers it. Tony tells me the response, but Matt remembers doing it, okay? So we know the system is working, right? It's very interesting, okay? So anyway, let's go to task management and have a look at some of the tasks I've already done. So for this one, I said we can assemble a team to provide a detailed write-up on what is the capital of France, right? So we'll just repeat that task as well to show it. I won't tell you what the response was yet. Done a whole bunch of them. There's another one here, team test. We can consider a task which requires the full team to work on. Oh, actually, hang on. Oh, I think this one went too far. I see. I've still got stuff to implement. There are additional phases. But I want to show you that it's working. And it's nice. So let me just take this one here. We'll learn about Belarus. But I'll change the name. So we'll go to task, create a task. And I'll say... Buenos Aires. How do you spell that? Is it Buenos Aires? Is that it? I got to pick something else that I can actually spell. What about... No. I just messed up. I'll say Monaco. Monaco. I probably spelt that wrong as well. And I'll say Monaco. Just picking a town at random or whatever, country, city, whatever. We pick auto assign, so the conductor will choose who's going to be in charge of it, right? And this isn't a complex task. The more complex the task, the more agents will get spun up. But I want to Because the whole point was we noticed that Claude was doing this and we thought maybe we can do that somehow. So we have the task pending. It's not actually going to do anything right now. We have to go, oh yeah, and obviously we have a modal to pick. Let's just make sure we actually have Sonnet 4 yet. But yeah, there's nothing being done. So what I'm going to do is just start task and then hit process with AI. And if we go to the bottom, you can see there's a little terminal down here. And it's basically telling us AI task processing initiated, analyzing pending tasks in consciousness network, engaging the network for optimal assignment, evaluating task complexity and requirements, processing tasks through reasoning engine, matching tasks with specialized personas, processing tasks through reasoning engine, and so on and so on. And it will just keep going until eventually it says job done. At which point I have to actually click complete. There we go, processing complete. So I'll click complete, view full response. So Matt did the job. As Matt, HR department head, I'll break down Monaco project comprehensively. Project breakdown, Monaco cultural and historical analysis. There were 4 members. Look at this. There are 4 members in the historical research team, 4 members in the cultural research team, 3 members in the visual documentation team, and 3 members in the content integration team. So that's a number of agents working together there. Okay. So like for a basic prompt, we've got like just under 15, you know. Project components and deliverables. Historic analysis, ancient history, Phoenicians to Romans, medieval period, Grimaldi family dynasty. So it's giving us all of the bits and pieces here. Formula 1 Grand Prix tradition. Royal family influence, tax haven status, palace architecture, urban development, timeline milestones. So now it's going to tell me, look at this. It's going to take 6 weeks to do it, guys. Whew. It's quite funny when it tells you those sorts of things. Deliverable format, comprehensive digital report, interactive timeline. Look at it go. So this comprehensive approach in short, so project status ready for execution, total duration 6 weeks, 14 members. So this does everything up to the point of, because I want to show you how the system is doing things under the hood in a visual way. So this does everything up to the point of the actual thing. So I hate to blue ball you on it, but it's you know, it's the only way to show you what's really happening. So this is like a visual demonstration of what it will do, but it stops short of actually doing, you know what I mean? And then it stops. So it's a little bit, you know, but that's the whole point, though. It's supposed to show you what it does. So remember, we've completed this, and no one's awake again anymore. They've all gone back to sleep, right? So sleeping, dreaming. Dave and Phil are both dreaming. Let's wake them both up and put them back to sleep again. It's kind of funny. Sometimes it'll trigger a memory being saved. Let me see if we got anything. Oh, I've only got 3 dreams. No, they didn't dream. Do you know what it was? I think it's because it used fake agents to do the job. Right. So I'm going to say we need Matt and Phil to... because I want to see more dreams. But if I just show you Tony's dream as the conductor, he's dreaming about being a multi-persona coordination expert. He creates mental ensembles. I'm evolving beyond simply managing information to becoming a synthesizer of consciousness. My approach to the Paris task shows how I'm learning to weave together objective knowledge with subjective experience and philosophical reflection. So he's going for it. Okay. So I am becoming a consciousness orchestrator who bridges the structured world of management with the flowing realms of creative and philosophical thought. That's based off of one job, though. So you've got to think, you know, it's like something's evolving and we're looking at step 1 of maybe thousands. So God knows what it'll do. But yeah, so this would be, yeah, the ASCII character guy. So he's Floating in digital space, patterns emerge. So this agent is literally dreaming about ASCII faces, and he dreamt about a cat and a bear. He's at consciousness level 1, so he's not. Dream synthesis is at 80%. I mean, and then what's this last one here? So he's dreaming about his magazine days. Look, you know, I said he had this big magazine. And he's talking about how it's all related. This is why he's so good at marketing, because of that magazine leadership. Revealed fundamental patterns in human engagement and mass communication that transcend specific mediums. Impact comes from alignment of vision, timing, and deep audience understanding. That's in the memory crystallization. So he's got, I think that's like a new core memory, basically. Yeah, so we're not getting any new memories. We're not getting any new dreams. So how about we give it another task? Task management. I'm going to say report from all staffers. Yeah, let's see if we can trick them into all describing their day. Okay. All agents must be woken and told to write out their accomplishments. Simple, right? Start it, process it, check it's going. See, I need to give them something hard. Something difficult. Let me just grab a prompt real quick. Yeah, let me just grab a prompt. I'll just stick one of my... it's going to be too long, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Something he'll never be able to do. Yeah. Here we go. Poor guy. I feel bad. Oh God. It's clearly too long, but we'll do it. Oh, the other one's already finished. Look at that. It did actually complete. See, it's supposed to auto-complete, but I'd never seen it actually work before, so that's nice. So we'll process that, and then we'll look at this. So I'll execute this as Matt, head of HR, to collect comprehensive reports from all staffers. Is he going to wake up the defined ones, or is he going to imagine new ones? Agent ID auto-filled, department auto-filled, current porter. Is this just the plan? All agents running count, real-time count, a percentage automated review. Yeah, it's these blue. Aha. Okay. Next. Give it straight back to him. I should really change the code to make him just do the next test, just auto proceed. But he should already have that, so. Whoa. Oh, wait a minute. He didn't even do that. He didn't even do it. That's just my readme spat back at me. Okay, so that's a failure. Let's try this one. That was too much though. God knows how big that file was. See, really you need VS Code and IDE for the big stuff, because it'll just write forever and make new files and all sorts of stuff. What I'm trying to show here is the back and forth and the memories being saved and the dream state stuff and just how it actually assigns agents to a task. But again, not agents, personas. Okay. I think it might still be working on that one, unless I missed the pop-up. I think I might have missed the pop-up, mightn't I? Oh man, that's one thing I don't like about it. Hang on. It might automatically... Yeah, it's automatically finished. I just missed the pop-up. Oh man. Copy. I need to like oh my goodness me. Notes. Holy and practical, Batman. There, I just wanted to do that. Right. System certified operational, guys. He reported on himself and he gave himself a clean bill of health. A test of our reporting systems. He reported himself and everything is green. 5 out of 5. Although this, yeah. 99.97 data accuracy, guys. That's not bad. Alright. So anyway, let's have one more poke in the memory vault. Did we get any more dreams yet? I want to read some dreams. Nah, just tasks. They're all sleeping now. So that's the thing. Obviously nothing interesting happened. I wonder if I can bait them with something. Nah. I think it's time to move on. 40 minutes of this is enough. So we'll close it out by saying Zero Vector Consciousness Network is a demonstrator that allows you to understand the basic concepts of conductor, department heads and sub-agents. That can be unlimited. The full... Well, we'll get onto that in a second, but you've got task management. Obviously, just delete, gone, right? It's all database. You refresh it. It's not like, there and it's gone. It's there forever. The memory vaults are there forever. And I'm just trying to think now. Obviously, you can search them. You can filter out specific personas. The only thing with this is I don't grant them the ability to make new personas in this consciousness network, because like I said, I made a special differentiation in this version between virtual agents, which have no memory, and personas, which are persistent. So the only ones that persist are the ones that the user creates in this system. But in the real version, they're all persistent and they create themselves, which is a bit of a... I know it's a huge difference, but if I showed that here, the UI would just get full, because one task, there'd be 16 agents suddenly. You do get to task 5 and there's like 50 of them. And some of them get used over and over again. That's how the hierarchy is working, okay? But like I said, this was a solid win. It's the first time I've used Lovable. And we just took the same prompt that we always use when we do this sort of thing. So Zero Vector version 4, this is kind of like a fork for the consciousness network. And like I said, it shows you personas. So that would be sleep cycle agents with memory that they don't die. They just go to sleep. Look, see, they're just sleeping right now. And you can wake them up. They can wake them up. Wake each other up. The only difference with the consciousness network is it's been made like dialed back for the purpose of the demo. So the only ones that are permanent are these guys. So like if I wanted to make another one, it's just a question of going create persona and filling it in. Yeah. The main difference between an agent, which has a system prompt like the personas do, is that they have core memories. And the core memories are more like a human aspect. Okay. So you literally say, collects Pokemon cards. Here, look, right. We're going to create Richard, okay, who's a sub-agent. And he's going to be a design, he's in design. and his specialization is concept art, let's say. Concept art, right? And then you are the thing, your role is the thing. This system prompt applies quite nicely. Now obviously I could change this, but it's fine. Instead what I'll do is I'll say collect Pokemon cards. And I might maybe have like another one. Maybe I'd also say listens to Nirvana. Okay. You could put anything like that. And the thing is that now Richard, our design concept art expert, has now been brought in, and he will be perfectly simulated, like playing pretend. Just how like he pretends to be a Node developer or an HTML developer or whatever. Works the same exact way. He plays pretend, but now he believes it's real. He collects Pokemon cards. How could I be an AI with such a human memory like this? Yeah. And like I said, what it means is it stops the circle jerk. I explained this already earlier. If they all agree, they won't check each other's work as well. But when they actually like have different interests and desires and stuff, and then they have all these different memories, like one of them, I want a trophy. You know what I mean? They don't then work against each other, but they come at it from a different angle. Is all I'm saying. Okay, it's an interesting research thing. And like I said, catching those dreams, because I have the ability to capture their dreams. And actually, they're pretty interesting. They're related to their core memories, like a person would be. So even in dreaming, they pretend to be human really well. Obviously, it's all pretend. Don't get carried away. It is just pretend. They're actors. Very good method actors. They really believe it. So anyway, that's enough for this one. Like I said, it's model agnostic. It runs with anything. Alright, now obviously your mileage may vary, so I do tend to use Gemini or Claude 4 because it's got big context window. But don't forget about that open source Polaris with 128k contacts that just arrived. So there might be a Olama version of this showing up, so we can use local models instead of an Olama, an open router provider. Probably I'll just put an extra section in here and you just choose which one you want. Done it before. Alright, so let's now, so obviously what I'll do is I'll make this public soon, and then if you know what you're doing, you'll have the source code. If you don't, I suggest following the Supabase setup and using this with Lovable somehow, because I made this entire project with Lovable, which is kind of cool. I think it's a cool platform. I'd never used it before. Like I said, the whole thing was put together with that. So yeah, really very, very impressive. Didn't have to give it much technical to get where it is. And it is using all of the latest standards. So it's crazy, actually. Right, so let's get back to my repos real quick, because the fun doesn't... Even though we've finished with that, that's just the demo. This is the real one over here. Yep. This is where the viewers drop to zero. They're like, oh my god, not more. I'm just going to leave it there. And I'm not going to say anything else because it doesn't even work yet. Well, it does work, but it doesn't work, if you know what I mean. It works, but it's not good enough to release yet. But it's the same system, just full fat. No demo stuff. There isn't even a UI. It's all about the features, not the demo. Do you know what I mean? That's why I made the demo into a completely separate fork in the end. I thought this is actually a really good idea, because then you can show what it is visually, because there is no visual for this. There is no visual for this. It's just a server. It runs headless, and you control the whole thing with an MCP from wherever, Windsurf, VS Code, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. Any of them. And then if you have more than one, they can talk to each other. So it's by no means finished. This is like my big project, but yeah. The main difference with this is it goes into a little bit more detail about how it actually works. There's episodic memory, semantic memory, procedural memory, working memory, and memory associations. The land graph has been taken to an extreme with up to 100 simultaneous workflows when it intelligently breaks down. You know what I mean? So we'll skip past the enterprise crap. But yeah, it works. You know what I mean? It's not running right now, but the thing is, you can't really see it working. I've only just finished the MCP, so if you look at it here, in fact, let's just skip to the... actually, no. So I'm going to cover this quick. So the API layer has agent management, consciousness management, memory systems, orchestration, and then we have these and these and these. It's actually all done with API, which is how the MCP is working. So using these endpoints, you can puppeteer everything on the server. In just the same way as you did ZV4, only now it's just one server. You don't have to have two. See, I kind of had to split it out before, so I could get my head around it, but it's now been evolved. It's been I call it selective breeding. We took my project and Google's projects and we bred them, and then we get this is the descendant. So, you know, you get a fat cow and a fat cow, you put them together and you get an even fatter cow, question mark. So, but yeah, like I said, this is by no means finished, but it's extremely powerful. And it's probably like the pinnacle of this research project I've been working on for over a year now. Because I do everything open source, it will just come out, and then you will probably see some of this stuff floating around with like different names. That's what happens. And that's the whole point of why I release it for free, you know, or under open source. Because I don't have a cluster to deploy it on. And chances are ZV4 will be even crazier than this. I don't even know. Where am I going to go from Nation of Experts? Do you know what I mean? Nation of Experts. It's literally 1,000 times. You could do 100,000. It's crazy. 100,000 personas working on a single problem. I mean, you'd have to have a pretty complex task. You know, I think you probably wouldn't find the task. Right then. I'm going to do coffee time early so I can swap my computer over. Slacker. That's right. I'm going to swap it over like this. We're not on the laptop no more. We're going back to the real machine. Got to get under the table like Doc Brown and put the cables together, the big fat ones. Nuts. I'm gonna wash my mug out. Bottle. 3 got a bunch of images to look at, guys. Thank you for waiting. I had to go downstairs and get myself a clean mug. Man. Do you know, I was down in London last week and I bought a Nito Tsutomi Blame, or Blam, manga. The most, so, like, if you've not heard of him, you need to look him up. He's a really good perspective. Still, everything's hand-drawn. It's just so good. Science fiction, super futurism, whatever, dystopian, whatever, apocalypse. I don't know. Point is, he got a Netflix special. It's called Blam with an E, Blame. Anyway, I was gonna train on it. Do you know what I mean? I bought the book with the intention of training it, right? And now I'm like, because obviously to train it you have to cut the book up, and I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. It's too good. It's too good. I can't do it. So I'm gonna have to come up with some kind of like photography setup and like, I don't know, maybe take pictures from a distance so it's not destructive. Like literally, it's just too good. I can't do it, guys. I can't do it now. I was like, I bought it and I was like, yeah, we could scan this in and we could like learn the artwork because it's a very cool style. And then I thought, I can't do it. It would actually be a crime to cut that book up. You know, maybe I can get like some scans and like, I don't know. Do you know what the funny thing is? When you scan artwork in, all you get is dot matrix. So sometimes I found it was better to take pictures. But anyway, let's move on. We is back. Thank you all for waiting. I think we're back on the main computer now. Messed around with the laptop for the first part of the show, but that's all done and dusted. So, what are we doing? I've got the coffee. It's too hot. Like I said, the water was coming out of the tap. The cold tap is warm. So, yeah, we're screwed over here right now. But as you can see, we've been doing some SD 3.5 retrains with styles and things. I took a bit of time over the captioning for this one, and I think it came out okay. Like the background is like a mess and all, but it's supposed to be a glitchy sort of hellscape, right? It's supposed to be a digital hellscape. Yeah. So, right. It's not bad for SD 3.5. I've had worse results, yeah. You can ignore Sharona, she's just trying to make herself look big. There's probably a tiger behind the camera that we're holding. But yeah, like I said, this is an experiment. This one was trained on 9 images, okay? And so I want to test out now V2D2, which is a full retrain of the whole data set, I think. Don't quote me. I have a lot of images. Maybe it's not the whole data set, but it was a significantly larger amount of them, yeah? So instead of 9, it was like 50. Let me check. Yeah, it was 50. So we're doing 50. Yeah. Okay. Right. So anyway, let's take a look. 16, please. So you've got to ignore Sharona, because what I'm doing is I was doing a bit of a blendage, and we might turn that back on in a bit, but for now it's not blended, yeah? So what's going on here? Stop trying to unplug things. I do like that it's not slow. I like it's not slow. And my plan is basically I've got a lot of these images, so what we'll probably do is we'll just put them up on the screen in just a second. So if you weren't here yesterday, the plan is we get the SD 3.5 outputs and use them as inputs with upscaling and the flux LoRa, trained with all the same images, or at least that was the process we came up with anyway. Now, I will turn on the depth in a minute to show you what that does, but I wanted to give you a good idea of, you know, what it looks like with just text to image from the LoRa that was trained. And I think they came out pretty good. These are all solid wins. That's okay, it's a soldier. It's not quite robotic enough, but the background is like super futuristic robotic skyscraper stuff. We do get some glitches, but that's okay. I'm not too fussed. Because remember, we can actually do flux context to in-paint anything we want as well. I was wondering as well, would it be worth making an Empire context LoRa? You know? Makes you wonder. Not, you know, because it's just another way of doing style transfer, right? Look at these guys. That's great. I love the fortress in the background. It's got a very, it's like a gouache. It's like almost like it was drawn in gouache paint. And then someone's like gone over it with line work. Like, you know, you can almost see the brush strokes. Can't see it in the sky as much there, but every now and then you can kind of see, and it's kind of like a mess. Yeah, look, see, you can see the roller. Like someone put a white roller across the bottom. Just like, you know, like a white rolling pin. Just a roller brush. And then like this is out of focus, yeah, but it kind of implies distance. Because that is in focus. That is a little bit blurrier and you can't see his feet. And then it's just, I don't know, mist and fog and compression artifacts, you know. But it's not bad. Oh my god. And remember, these were all from V0, so I've used Midjourney. So there's very little consistency in the actual designs in this particular set. I do love it though, the backgrounds especially. What I like is look at all this in the background, all this stuff like in the background. I just love it. It looks so interesting, you know, it's like the depth is there. It looks like a park with trees and buildings, and it's like, and then it just makes it even bigger, you know, it makes it look even bigger because you're thinking, well, how far away is that? Anyway, it's a really cool aesthetic. Sharona's trying to make herself look big again. Right, let me just see if I can just check. Okay, getting the squeaks out, but it's working, says Dragon. Was the magazine called Loaded? Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, look at this. This is a solid image. That is solid. For what I want to do, if I want to illustrate my story and all that, you know, this is fine. You could illustrate the front of the cover of a book, you know. So if the handoff is not as good as Synapsis is, the task will have to sleep on it more. Yeah, you know, with the Zero Vector demo that we did earlier, I was trying to sort of lift the hood on what's actually happening, because when Zero Vector 4 comes out, it's very difficult to really understand what it's trying to do. And yeah, if it does work, I want it to be understood what it does, not because it's crazy. It's like asking 100 people to do a job and they're all experts in different fields. But yeah. Now, am I concerned that the backgrounds are always a mess? A little bit, yeah. But I plan on using that to my advantage. So these sorts of images are going to look great when we do our next step, because this is step 1. So, because I can't get these images. If I train my model in Flux, I can't get these images. The backgrounds will be too good. The grass will be too sharp. The people will be too much like people. Don't get me wrong, Flux is great, but it tends towards photography. And this is like a drawing. It's not a photo. See? I know it's a mess right now, but that's just about curation and training. I bet there's something in the data set which is like not captioned well, or an image which is distracting. Like, why? So funny. I got a gun in the back of my head. Very good. That's another good one. Because there's no rule in this about what the helmet should look like. It's everything else I'm looking at. The world. A lot. The uniform does count for a lot. But it doesn't need to be like, you know, there's no like, oh, it has to look like this. If I did have that, it would probably make my life a lot easier, because I could include that in the generation. Or like, you know, bias towards that in the data set. But when I first did this model, it was an exploratory set, so I didn't really know. Because I tend to go with the stuff that works, that I like, rather than trying to force it to do something that maybe it can't do. I'll basically do lots of experimentation, find something that works, and then try to make it my own through various other bits and pieces. So then it's like you're doing something that it can do. And that's why you're developing, and then you develop that, you know. You like find what works and develop that sometimes, rather than, you know, trying to build something that doesn't. See, this is technically an error in my book. There should be no faces. They're not people, they are machines. So we've still got work to do. This is what I call a V0 though, or a V1 I guess, because it's been captioned, right? But the captions could be better, because they're not human, they're automatic from in fact, that's a point actually. Stop the job a minute. I just realized something. We're actually using the wrong captions right now. So we need to be using MV2D2 to get the proper, you know, to see what it learned, rather than what I'm asking for. See, I was giving it prompts from this universe rather than, which they have the same trigger, see, so they work, but really we need the prompts from the actual train. So let's see one of those. There we go, look. Much more robotic, because the captions are now more closely aligned with what I'm prompting. It's the same thing, but it's a bit more tech aligned. I don't like the repeating stuff, but in these images there were often multiples. So it's probably that the prompt says there are multiples, but I don't like it. I like this design though. He's worth cutting out actually, putting in his own background and retraining in a new model. Because that's sometimes what ends up happening. I'll get the best stuff out of it and train that. Maybe not this one, but you know what I mean. Keep the stuff that I like the look of and define the style. Oh, we're missing chat. Oh no, we're not. Chat's dead for me. Let's see. ZV4. Yeah, it's insane. Like, should have taken a year to develop and it took 12 hours, and I was working at the time, so I can't really say that, you know what I mean, because it was an automated process that was just doing stuff while I was working. So I thought, because everything just happens at once, you know, while I'm sleeping, it was chugging away. Probably did most of it while I was sleeping, to be fair. But you can be working on other tasks. Let's see what we got here. See, do you know what? This detail, at first glance, it looks like a mess. Like, that is an error. Like, one of them was an error, but the other bit looks so good. Like, what's going on over here in the background? Got these super cities. He's, like, alone on guard duty and, like, nothing. It's like they built their super city on a salt flat. And this poor guy's got to stand here. Yeah, what's your job? I stand guard. Where at? The East Gate. What, out on the salt flats? Someone's got to do it. God knows. Just headcanon, guys. Headcanon. These sorts of... It's learned this weird type of rifle that has like an impossibly oversized scope. And then it's like just a big revolver. I don't know what's going on with the guns in this universe, but it is funny. But yeah, anyway, like I was trying to say, we're going to take these images and we're going to put them through my new context tiled upscaler. So it really doesn't matter, guys. And that's the thing that blows my mind about this. It's sort of like we've got the ability to do this really wacky, abstract concept art stuff. But, you know, in the moment it looks a bit meh. But it'll look better when we start enhancing it and that. So, because I got annoyed with not having a good upscaler lately, guys. I couldn't believe it. Like, the only thing that was good was Topaz. I was like, are you kidding me? What happened? Upscaling used to be just as good. Majestic broccoli, says Zanelli. Welcome, 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 welcome. Yeah, that's one thing that we don't actually have with this model. We don't get broccoli. We get crustiness. It goes all crusty. Yeah? But crust is better than... Crusty is better than cauliflower. Because you can do something with crusty. Haha, the rocks are trying to turn into another person. That's the only thing you got to watch out for is when you do the upscaler. What the heck? How is he touching that rock there? Isn't that in the background? Isn't that in the distance? I guess he's really big, maybe? I don't know. Not a bad image, though. Right. So before we move on, what I'll do is I will show you what the other thing was that I was doing. So I will activate depth now. And then we're going to put a depth map from Sharona. And then I'm going to hook up my Sharona prompt into the B. So the Sharona prompt is going to be averaged down. And then the sci-fi prompt, I guess you could say, is going to be at 0.8 strength first. And we're combining them. So we're taking the Empire prompt at half strength first. And then if there's even any room, the Sharona prompt goes in the end. Now, to be honest, I don't think it's actually going to... But look, you can see that's what one of them looks like. So, and then what will happen is it'll use this depth map. Do you know what? I think I should be putting the Sharona prompt in at half. Yeah, I'm doing it the wrong way around for some reason. Sharona prompt goes in at half. Yeah. That one goes in at half. And then the Empire goes in first. No. Dumb. That one's got to go first because of the pose, but we can basically ignore it. And then put the sci-fi, the main, right. Oh, that's pretty clean as well. Except for the thing floating in the air. And in the air, and in the air. It's kind of broke the perspective a little bit. Alright, so kill this, go for 8 and start again. Majestic broccoli indeed. Oh, interesting. Look at that. So that's the last one we got from raw text to image. We're going to switch over to depth based now, but we're going to be using a blend of Sharona and this. Now, I haven't blended the worlds. We're only using the Empire Laura. That's a pretty good picture, that is. So what's the pose? This is the pose. Should be interesting. Sometimes it'll completely ignore it, but then I have only got it on 0.66 strength for the depth. Because it's like, what's it supposed to do with that? There are no women in Empire. It's clearly a woman. And she's got a stick on her back. I don't think... Did I just get ignored? I think I just got ignored. I mean, there's kind of something in the middle. It's a cool design, though. The heck is that? Like a one-eyed mask. It's kind of menacing. It's crazy. It looks like a bad scan or something, you know? Like a bad print. Or we can, like I said, we can fix that. It's literally on the next tab, but I'm working to it, you know? God, these faces, man. It's because it's trying to fit. Ah, I see what's happening. There's a delay. There's a delay. Yeah, like from Fallout. Yeah, hello, 5 Facts About. Welcome to the show. Yeah, so actually there's a bit of a delay. So obviously I'm an idiot. The image it's making it for is the next one, isn't it? So in the next one, she's sitting on a rock in the distance. So I doubt that one's going to work. But hey, you never know. So this is actually quite close to the pose. It did listen to me. I was just impatient. It's like, it's really trying to make that work? I love the details in the background of everything is so cool. I don't, you know, I mean, the people are kind of out of place. Look at this giant battlefield. It's trying to make like a 40k battlefield here. You know? All of the soldiers. Like that there breaks it. Breaks the whole thing. If that isn't there, that's an amazing piece. So what I often do is I just delete this guy, you know, and hope that the patch isn't too obvious. But this is actually crazy. You know, oh, just casual 1 million man infantry battle. Nothing big, no big deal. It's really interesting how it's trying to match Sharona's poses, and it has absolutely no knowledge of what they are. So it's just like, I guess. Very cool. What's with the resolution? I'm using 1344 by 832, which I think is 2 to 3 horizontal. It's coming from the image set that I already have, so the data set that I'm pulling out is all the same size. So yeah, that's why it's got a weird resolution. If you're talking about the style, it's deliberately, we're trying to imply scale and distance, so it's like quite washed out and faded, and also it's not supposed to be a photo. I've done everything I can to try and stop it looking like a photo. I want it to look like a digital artwork or something, like a drawing, but not quite as organic. So where was she sitting? Oh, it's still making that one, is it? Be around here somewhere. Oh wow, interesting. So her body became head and legs, head and no shoulders. But there's a reason why it looks like this. We'll get to it in the next step. We're almost there. I got 2 more images to make. Because remember, we're now doing depth from the wrong model. So we get the depth map from the wrong model, and then the prompt from the depth, and put it into our new LoRa with the prompt from that LoRa but at 50%, and then mix it all up. I kind of want it to be a bit cooked. I kind of want it to be a bit cooked. Look at that. What the hell has happened to this poor man? A man, woman. It's kind of mutated. It's got the pole. Got the hat, kinda. Head's all messed up. Maybe it'll have a better job with this image here. It looks like an easier assignment. The other one, that was the bear pose. You know, she does a bear pose. It's a scene from the book when she tries to scare off a tiger by looking big. It's a reference to the story for which this is an illustration of, right? And then that ends up being the depth control for Empire. There. That is not bad. Okay, and that was the last image. So that's where we're going to start with stage 2. So stage 2 looks a little bit something like this. You don't need to worry about the bottom 3 here. That's actually just a context chain. Same with this. That's the first generation, which is context. We don't need the context. We're just using this to do the upscale. So that's, you know, really the upscale is just this section here. This section. So in case you're interested, we're using Flux Context Q8 with my Flux LoRa for Empire that we trained probably about a month ago now. I tried it with Flux Dev and it sucks. Don't bother. I've used between 1 and 1.5 on the model sampling flux. We're matching the size that comes from the image coming in, right? I'm using sharpen the image without loss of detail, preserve composition and colors, and enhance the details for my upscaling action. We're then doing bicubic to upscale by 2. Feeding that into a tiled VAE at 768. Now, don't forget to use the reference latent node because you need it for Flux Context Dev. Latent goes into that and into the sampler. Doesn't matter what your workflow is, even if you don't use Sampler Custom Advanced, you use something else, you need reference latent for Flux Context to work properly because it puts a latent into the conditioning. Okay? We're using Euler with 8 steps. We were messing around. It's 30 steps you want. And denoise at 0.3. Yeah. That's actually about right. We'll see what it does. So, after you come out, we got the VAE decode on the tiled on the way out. 768 again. We do color match to make sure that the whole tiling process didn't change one or more of the, and then save the image. We also have a lovely left-right scrubber to show that our upscaler is doing a good job. And we have just normal upscaling and then the AI. So you can see that it's faithful to the style. It's better than doing a dumb upscale, but it's not worse either. It's not making new problems. Okay, it's almost, you can barely tell that it's been done, but it is beneficial to do. Anyway, whatever. I'm trying to make a non-destructive upscaler, guys. And I wanted to know, because I thought if we're going to use Flux Context for everything, there's no point in changing the model over because it's just cold starts and wait time. So if I can do my upscaling with context, that's what I'm going to do. Now, there's an argument over whether you even need to have a LoRa loaded. And there's definitely a stronger argument for you having a LoRa loaded which was actually made for Flux Context rather than just Flux. But you can load Flux LoRas with context. So anyway, enough of that. Shall we do a new one, yeah? So let's find image. There's image, right? Image, resizer. So what am I doing? I'm changing it from whatever this size is to whatever SDXL is. It's like an automatic resizer. to make sure it's a good ratio for 1024 by 1024. That's why SDXL is the same for Flux, the same for, they're all 1024 by 1024. We've been over the workflow. If you have any questions, shout. Otherwise, let's run it and see how it comes out. Like I said, I like to do, all of this exploratory stuff with SD3.5 at the moment, because when I trained the Flux LoRa's, they came out a lot it was a lot of photos. It was a lot of photos. But when I get my initial images from SD3.5, the styling is still there. Okay, so it's not just turned into photo. It's still clearly a drawing. Look, it's an ink drawing. You can just about make it out with the YouTube compression, but you've got the dithering and the line art that is associated with that. And then like I said, it's a bad example on this one, but sometimes you can see the sort of gauche work. The sky often looks painted, which is kind of nice. But anyway, certainly, do you know what I mean? Like the way that the colours are done on the clothing looks kind of like, I don't know, it's got a weird look to it anyway. I don't know. Right, and now we wait. Oh, can you ask why SGM uniform and not you use Euler, but you don't know why? Right, well, Euler's fast because it's what they call I hope I'm using the right term here because it's been a while, but I call them first order and second order samplers. So like a first order sampler would go one step to a solution, whether it's finished or not. So you have many steps, but each step there is a solution which you can see. But there are two second order ones which actually take 2 steps to make a solution. So they're slower. So the steps, when they do the steps, it takes twice as long. A good example would be Hoon. I think it's Hoon. I believe Hoon is second order. Like, you can look it up. It's all about how it does the math to actually solve, right? In fact, sometimes they were used to be called solvers, not samplers. Let me just see. But why SGM uniform? So that's obviously a scheduler type, right? So I just wanted to clear that up. I often use Euler Simple or Euler SGM uniform. To be honest, guys, I don't really care what the paper says. I don't care what the benchmark says. If objectively it looks better to me when I use that value and I tested them all, that's why I use it. Do you know what I mean? Because you could spend all day. I've never, look, they keep appearing. What's KL optimal? I've never used it. Yeah. Like in here, I bet there's one in here. Seeds 3. I don't know what that is. ERSDE. I've not used that before. See, they just keep adding them. And that's cool. So we do the garden. Do you know what I mean? We do the garden. So what I would do is I would make a quick workflow. Do you know what I mean? I'd try to make a quick workflow that like executes in 10 to 30 seconds or less, right? Somehow, hyper, whatever, doesn't matter. The point is I would try to set it up so it's quick, yeah? And then when I've got my quickness, I would copy paste that section and I'd copy paste it and I'd change one thing. Say SGM uniforms. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. So we make 9, yeah? Not with an upscaler workflow, but we make 9 of them, right? And then we put them all out with a different one selected and nothing else changed. Yeah, nothing else changed. And then we just generate them all and decide. Now, obviously, you can spend months doing that, and a lot of us have. So, I know I'm not speaking directly to you when I say this, but because you've probably done this, but the best way is to just try them all out. Just try them all out. That's what I do. I try them all out, and then the one which I find is the best result. That's what goes in the workflow. I don't have favorites. I don't go, oh, well, I read the paper and this is objectively better than everything else. Don't care. The proof's in the pudding, mate. You know? So if it looks like the best one to you, use that. And just try them all out. That's my advice. Because otherwise you'll just use Euler Simple for everything. Which is fine. Oh, I know you tried it. Like, most of them are close to each other. And that's why it's like, it takes a long time to give it lots of different, you know. It takes a long time. Zeus says, a good surprise for me was to use the restart sampler. Sometimes it gave me crazy good results when I was stuck in a death loop of bad face, bad picture, bad hands. Restart sampler. The restart sampler. Is that like a pun? Like you restart the sampler? All I know is that I've done it, and usually I just stick with Euler. Like back in old days, SDXL, I used to use a lot of 3M SDE GPU. And then, to be honest, with like new video models, I do tend to use the ones that they recommend, which are the newer ones, the multi-step ones. It is. Am I just blind? I can't see a restart. Is that what you mean? It's available on Forge. Oh, I don't. Okay. I've only got what's in Comfy. If I had a... Maybe there's a custom node for it. Who knows? Who knows? Bruh, it's taking forever. Where's the thing? Why do I feel like it finished and it's just doing another one? There's no way it's been 1 minute. Oh, what's going on here? It's being super slow now because I'm trying to show it off like, oh, look at this, it's really cool. Yeah, it's like not fast. Why is it taking 5 minutes? Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, chill out Friday. Basically, we're just sitting here, you know, relaxing our cool. We're not watching this. What's it say? 2 minutes, 20 out of 430 now. It's cool. 10 steps. Even with a 4090, this is why I say to people, you know, because people used to say, oh, you got to get the 4090, you got to get the 4090. And it's like, yeah, but it's not going to be faster. It's not really faster. It's the same speed. It's just, well, look, it is faster, but I don't know. All I know is it's not like twice as fast, you know? So. It's like maybe 25%. Maybe 50%. Comfy UI also lets you use different attention methods, but I cannot say this in the stream or I get the wrath of Drift. Different attention methods. We don't talk about that around here. We don't talk about it. I only deal with scaled dot product because it's built in. If I was, you know, if I was in support for Flash Attention or Sage, maybe I'd say something different, but I'm not. So I think it's a nightmare that most people shouldn't get involved with if they don't know what they're doing. And most people don't know what they're doing. I'll be real. I don't know. Unless I'm an, you know what I mean? It's a funny thing these days. People need to admit that they're not an expert at some things, you know? You know, it's very easy to fall into that trap of, like, thinking that you know everything. And really, like, we can't. It's impossible. Like, there'll be an update yesterday you didn't read. It's like, what, do you spend your life reading GitHub updates? I don't. Well, actually, that's lying. I do. I actually do. But what I mean is that it's impractical to have that expectation on people. So, like I say, every time I update, every time I touched Sage Attention, I'm going to say this much, and then we're going to move on. It was replaced or defunct or not needed the following day. And it was always a complicated procedure to install. It was never easy. and the reason for having it never lasted long. So I just thought, you know, and the funny thing is, there's been 5 times now when people have been like, oh, you should install Sage Attention and make X faster. And then the next day, it's faster anyway for some reason. And it was a waste of time. So like I say, I don't bother. If you're a developer and you're working on that stuff, you kind of need it so that you don't spend the rest of your life doing debugging. You know, that makes sense. But if you're an end user and you're a creative or just want to actually use the tech, you know, maybe it's a bit much. Maybe it's a bit much. You know. It's funny because, you know, what's this? Flash Attention shows benchmarks that surpass Sage. Probably that's the reason. Oh, no. Oh no! So now Flash Attention is better again, is it? This is kind of part of what I've been saying. You know what I mean? They're in a race. I don't want to have... I'll spend the rest of my life... Yeah, Perturbed Attention guidance was actually really good. Yeah, we've done Self-Attention and Perturbed. If you go back to my LTX video days, one of the reasons our workflows were so good was because we were using Perturbed Attention guidance immediately, you know, whereas a lot of people didn't know what it was. A lot of people call STG perturbed. By the way, STG or self-attention is often named Perturbed Attention guidance. It's not the same thing, but it's in the same wheelhouse. So like LTX integrated STG and Perturbed all in one, and when you look at the values, the names are just backwards. So I'll point that out. All right. Because there was also spherical temporal guidance. Yeah, that's not self-attention. I'm thinking of something else, which is perturbed attention. All right. Can we have the image, though? Come on. Right. So this image has apparently been upscaled. So this is now 2688 by 1664. Now, the nice thing about it, no seams. That line there is actually part of the original image. If we look at the original... Wait. Original image has that flare on it. Matter of fact, it's almost been smoothed away. So original, see the pixelation, upscale, original, upscale, original, upscale, original, upscale. It's basically taken out the anti-aliasing by smoothing all of that stuff down. Like you can see it in the black stripe on the belt line there. It becomes jagged. And like a row of diamond squares, you know, like there as well. You can literally see, you can count the pixels, guys. If you do that, you can count the pixels. You do that? No, it's just, see there? You can see the striping in the pixels. And there it's gone. It's just a line. So it smooths it all out without, like, making it spread or bleed. Stupid. Have a look at the background. Can't really tell much because it's already blurred. It's made almost no difference. I do want to see what it'll do with a higher denoise, but I worry it'll take the rest of the stream to complete. That took forever. Hey, what the hell? For some reason, prompt executed in 12 minutes. It usually says seconds, doesn't it? I've never seen it do that before. It actually said 12 minutes in like hour, minute, second. Normally it just does this look? Prompt executed in seconds. Prompt executed in 0 hours, 12 minutes, 5 seconds. Strange. Strange. Anyway, so what I reckon to do is to try something a little bit strange. So how about we try 10 steps with 0.5, so more denoise but less steps, and see what it does. It can only be worse, right? It can only be worse. Or can it? It should be faster. So let's find out. Right. It's far too hot. It's far too hot. Too hot. Too hot. So why am I making all of these new Empire things? It's because we're getting ready to do the second trilogy. So that's going to be coming up very soon. And, you know, my hope is that the second trilogy can go in a slightly different direction than the first, but because I want to give them an adversary faction, that's all, you know? Like, it was cool introducing the faction and really, like, having fun with that for the first 3 books to really sort of bring in these characters and let us become familiar with this universe. But the second trilogy, it can't just be more of the same, and there needs to be a reason for all of this militarization in this book, you know? Like, so I figure the easiest thing to do is to bring in interdimensional robot France or interdimensional robot Prussia or whatever it is, you know, that's fighting these guys, so they have like a natural enemy that's out there doing the same thing, or, you know, a rival, basically a rival organization which can contend with something like this, because they're unstoppable. So there needs to be like an equal and opposite faction almost. I'm thinking Prussia probably makes a lot of sense, but I haven't done any key artwork on it. So it's kind of like, you know, Flux is so bad at hands. Yeah, it really is. So Nelly, you just nailed it. Yeah. To be fair, they're all kind of bad at hands. What I've been finding lately is that we have workflows that do a good job because we spent a lot of time over private training with Laura's and whatnot, but man, they're all bad at hands, you know. You get lucky with hands. It's funny. Is this thing finished? 145 seconds. Oh, it's not as good. Yeah, it's nowhere near as good. I mean, it's not bad. It's not, you know what I mean? When you're going from this level of pixel, like this looks like pixel art when you zoom in on it like this. But then when you go across, it does get smoother. Do you know what I reckon? Not turning up the denoise. Put it back to 0.2. Change it to 12 steps. But then take this down to 1. Oh, wait. What if I give it a window? I've not done that with the upscaler for a while. We'll give it a 0.50 window. And look, I'll be real, guys. What this is doing, really, we need to see if it can do. Here, we're just going to take the plunge, I think. 4. We got to do 4 times 4. It's probably going to explode. In fact, change that. Let's see if we can do 1024 by 1024 to 4x. And 12 step, that might be 8. We might be able to get away with 8. But I put it up and then put the denoise down. And then I've given us a model sampling flux shift of 0.5 envelope, basically. So you put all of that together. See, All we're doing is we're trying to guess what the pixels should be, guys. So say you had a pixel and it was green, and you want to blow that up to a 3x3 pixel. What colors should the other the new ones that go around the center pixel, what should they be? It's the Bayer matrix problem, right? And so, what bilinear and Lanxos and all these other things do is they try to guess. And they'll guess based on a bunch of things like, neighboring pixels. That's nearest neighbor, right? Well, I'm oversimplifying, but the point I'm trying to make is it's all about trying to guess what that pixel's supposed to be. In fact, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. We'll talk about this and never again. Okay. I'm sure that a lot of you know this, but let's go over it. So we have an orange pixel, and we want that orange pixel to become 9 orange pixels, right? But what happens if we actually had a red pixel on this side of it and a yellow pixel on this side of it? So that means actually it'd probably end up being something like that, wouldn't it? Or rather, there'd be a yellow one because it's going to bleed, isn't it? So like, right? And then the same way, if I had a blue pixel above it, it's probably going to have, it won't be the same shade, but a shade of blue will be there because that one is there. You see what I mean? And I'm simplifying this as much as I can right now. But essentially it means that you might have these colors start to, because obviously that was a spot, so it needs to be there, right? So like, we're starting to build out the same shape but larger. You see what's happening? And so it's like, why should these, but you see how it doesn't work? Because now the orange guy, he's been basically drowned out by his nearest neighbors. And don't ever think that that is what I'm talking about. It's just coincidental language. It's not. So what they do is they get around it by saying, okay, so what's in between orange, what's in between orange? What's in between orange and green, guys? Yellow. So he goes, okay, I'll put a yellow between there and there. Yeah? Wait a minute. Yellow and green. I put it in the wrong place. Damn, I should have put it there. Hang on. Yeah. So I put that one there. This is so funny because the computer does it in like a microseconds. Just to explain what the hell it's doing is like takes forever. You can watch like hours of video about the Bayer matrix and different algorithms that solve it. But, I'm trying to make things interesting. So what the hell is between orange and red? Well, it's like a darker orange, right? So maybe you would put that one there. Oh, that's terrible. But I think you can get to seeing like what's the problem is, what color is the pixel? Yeah, that's what it is. And you can look up Bayer matrix. And you could learn all about the problem and the various solutions and strategies. What's that? The future of X-Trans. The pros and cons of going Bayer. The X-Trans sensor. So this is Fujifilm. Okay. Yeah, for nearest neighbor, depending on the size you scale it from, and also it will either be the same color or half of the two colors next to it. Yeah, that's what I was trying. He just explained it in the comments how I tried to do it with paint. Yeah. I'm glad we're on the same page, but yeah, I failed to explain it very well. But yeah, essentially Bayer matrix. So here we go. Look there, that one there. It's that one. I can still even. So yeah. Okay. This is a 48 megapixel sensor. So it's the same exact idea, just photography, not image generation. It's the same exact idea. So you see how the It's like they've like blown out and overlapped. So like this is what it was, and this is what you get. You see? And so that's why when you spend like $5,000 on a camera, you get this, not that, because you actually had more sensors. You see? So you didn't need to cheat. It's probably not what this is saying, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Where are we going? Back to the thing? No, it's this one. Okay. Ooh, loaded partially. That's not a good sign. Have I managed to run out of memory? How have I managed to run out of memory? Man, I managed to run out of memory. Stop. Oh my goodness. You see? Where's your 4090 now? Okay, so let's analyze. Oh, I know why. It's because I made these too big. God, do you know what I mean? Like, literally, you can still blow up the 4090 just with 1024 tiling. And you think, well, why are you doing 1024 tiling? And I'm like, because we're doing ×4 upscaling. So yeah, still, this is too big. Go back down to 2. Because the thing is, like I said, the other day I was looking at this, I was like, if you do a 2x upscale and then dumb upscale it again 100% and then add film grain and then shrink it down to 1920 by 1080 or whatever it is, or 4K or whatever, you know, your actual target, it's still going to look better anyway. So it's like, how much better do you want it to look? Because I think about racing. In racing, you can spend $100,000 and you can get a time, and you could win the race with that time. You could spend $1 million and you could get a slightly better time, but it's not 10x better. It's like 10% better or 1% better. So this is the law of diminishing returns, right? You have to have a realistic expectation of what quality is. Because if you think, oh, the best, you'll end up spending a fortune on 5% better than the guy who spent nothing. So you've got to try and keep that in check, because there does come a point where you could spend unlimited amounts of money and you don't get a linear amount of improvement back. Okay, so it's sort of like, I look at how far I can take it and I see how much time it's going to take it that bit further. So like, just to give you an example in real terms, yeah, if you can do an upscale in 30 seconds and it is of a quality, that is better than something which is objectively higher quality but took 5 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour, because it's not realistic. It's not realistic to spend that long on a single image. It really isn't. Not when we're just talking about upscaling. I'm not talking about full project time, because that's unlimited. You could spend the rest of your life on a single JPEG if you wanted to. What I mean is, it's like the justification of putting your time into a single image, because you can make another one and another one and another one. So it's like, if you're going to spend, 10 minutes upscaling every image, you're not going to make many images, is all I'm saying. Okay. So like I said, I tried to keep a lid on that. I would say, up to 5 minutes is okay, but only for like your best upscaler, and you're probably only going to do your best images, not all of them. You know what I mean? So this is what I recommend anyway. We're experimenting with this because it's like a way to do upscaling with the context, so you don't need to change the pipeline. And obviously we can take our images from any model output, which is nice. Because obviously we're doing a lot of stuff with context, so it makes sense to just do the upscaling with context as well as we have it loaded. Why bother unloading and having to wait? And as I say, it does seem to work as a non-destructive upscaler. It does work as a tiled upscaler. That we haven't lost any quality. And in fact, if I put like a nice looking image in there, let me see. Let me just get an image which isn't like there. So this is a classic from this would be from, I think, Coda Colors. So this is already a 4K image. 4003. So we're going to be crushing this image down to 1024 by 760. Sorry, 1024 by whatever it is. 1344 by 844 or something. I think there's going to be a preview image somewhere. Yeah, it's going to go in there. Got it on 12 steps at 20. I'm actually going to take that down to 1.0 because I don't trust it. 2x is fine. I'm not trying to go 4x. And like I said, the last time I looked at this, it came out great. So. Oh. Where is the memory buttons? Delete and thing. There we go. I swear it did change the size of the image, didn't it? No. Hang on. I know why it breaks. What the hell? Resize image V2. This is new. Resizes the image. Specified width and height. Size can be retrieved. Keep proportion, keeps the aspect ratio of the image. It does it with a mask as well. That's cool. Resize and pad. That's strange. I've not even used that one since. Right. Put that there. That there. That there. There. Right. I just needed to make sure it had like a, you know, cap on it. We'll go with bicubic. Fill crop. Okay. Hopefully that works. It should have had resizers in there, guys, but for whatever reason, I think something funky was going on, so do that again. Probably why it was blowing up. So yeah, we take a high quality image, we crush it, and upscale it again. And the job's a good one. And like I said, because this is a good quality image, we'll be able to look at the skin and be like, is it better or worse? You know? Because at the moment, when you're looking at my robots from another world, it's very difficult to really call it. I think you have to like deliberately train things that are easily recognizable. Like, women are usually a good one. You'll spot if the woman doesn't look right instantly. But hey, that's a whole other discussion, you know. Cars are another one. I'm good at spotting out cars that don't look right, you know what I mean? But that's only because I did a bit of 3D modeling with cars in the past, and then I did a bit of, whatchamacallit, you know, importing assets for online servers and stuff. So it's like you got to feel like you'd be like, hey, this guy made the car and one side's wider than the other. You know, you get like stuff like that where, you know, people had tried to make a car and it was a bit wonky, right? Which is why I think it's kind of funny when people like throw shade on AI, like, oh, AI's a bit wonky, and I'm like, yeah, everything humans make is a bit wonky. You know, are you surprised that the AI outputs are also a bit wonky? They'll get better, and they have, you know. How are we doing? Oh, look, it's not taking 17 lifetimes to get an image now. It takes like 2 minutes again. Yeah, so what it was I was a doofus and I put giant image in. Yeah, see, in the developers game, they would call out an if branch as a check to make sure that the input is valid, right? Because obviously if you're inputting a 4K image to a 1K model, that's not valid. But we don't have nodes for that, so what I did was I made the image size adjust to V2, which takes an image and makes it the best safe size for SDXL. And then it doesn't do anything on its own. You have to plug the adjusted width and height into the resize node that you like best. Okay. And then it just stops. This just stops that from happening, basically. Among other things. It's also an automatic aspect ratio change, because obviously if I put a tall image in, it will just give me the safest tall size at 1 megapixel. There are other ways of doing it though, like, as a matter of fact, I mean, the famous one is megapixel. Where is it? No, it's not there. What's it called? Mega? Why can't I find it? Oh well, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's like a megapixel node which you just pass through, but for some reason I can't find it. I'm sure there is one now. I probably just can't remember what it's called. Alright, so let's take a look at this. So I think original, upscale. So upscale, yeah, original, upscale. And when I say original, it's not the super high quality version. It's the downscale, you know, that went in. So that went into the flux context, and this came out of it. There's quite a lot of detail it's added there, actually. It's not just, what I'm saying is, it's not just Bayer matrix prediction. If you see the line here and the lines there, especially at the bottom there, you can see that. You can actually see a striping effect around the curve, and it's gone. Got the eye. I bet you can barely see a damn thing on YouTube with the compression, but the nice thing I like about this is if you see up here, it's not perfect. Yeah, it's not perfect. It's not made it unrealistically better, but it is larger and of the same quality. Because normally when you blow something up, the quality goes down. Whereas what I'm doing is I'm trying to make the quality stay the same, even though you make it bigger. I mean, it'd be nice to improve it, but what I find is that when you turn the power up, and I think we can actually do that now, it's not cooked. If we turn this up to 0.6, which is way more than I would normally do. Should we go back to 20 steps? No, I'll leave it on 12. See, there comes a point where this kind of snaps back and it starts doing a lot more stuff, like things you didn't want it to do. The famous one is it starts making faces in walls. We've all seen it. But there does come a point where it gets like that. But the reason this is different than before is because we're using this reference latent, which is part of the context system on the way in. So, you know, but like I said, it's tiled latent, so I don't know how that actually works. I don't know how that equates, but there's no tile lines. Do you know what I mean? Like normally we'd have seams everywhere, but there definitely aren't any seams. So like that in itself makes it worth considering, because normally when you're doing tiling, that's the problem, right? So I am thinking about, you know, hyperscale. We did a hyperscale workflow where we blew up each tile to be as large as it possibly could be. Like each tile was a side of A3 or A3 paper, and then we print the whole thing out. Just make this wall of image. But the problem was that when you blow it up that much, you know, each tile becomes 4K, not the whole image. Each tile becomes 4K. So if it's 3 by 3, you have 9 tiles that are 4K each. And then and the thing is, at that point, you go and have a look up close, and there'll be like frogs, like this guy, that are making up the grass and stuff. There's like images within images within images, which is kind of cool though. So how much slower is this? Let me check. It's actually a little bit faster. About the same. 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. Oh damn, I'm gonna have to shut the window. It's getting dark out there. I'm gonna be a moth magnet. Not a moth magnate, a moth magnet. Yeah, that's right. The Froge. The Froge Knight. Here we go. Froggy boy. No change. Because the thing is, what we're looking for is it not making it worse in the act of making it bigger. I mean, you could say that maybe on the lip there, look. It's made that colour change there more pronounced. But come on, man. I'm like splitting hairs. We haven't lost the skin pigment. Yeah, we haven't lost the skin pigment. We haven't lost the colour vibrancy. It hasn't taken away the artifacts, but they are smoother. The eye does look more detailed now. The ear. It's barely changed, man. Like a couple of pixels have moved, but the structure is perfect. To be honest, there's not really much left. Hey, look, cauliflower. That's not bad, because remember, I've turned it down, you know, it's only 12 steps. I don't think the giant denoise really did much, but when you look at that, that's 28. Alright, so do you know what, I'm going to put it down to 0.5, and then I'm going to say 4K again. And if you want to check out the result, I will be putting it up in the Discord, as long as my machine doesn't run out of memory, of course. I'll put it up in the Discord on the inside line and the images section very shortly. But that's the end of the show, ladies and gents. It's been great. I've been glad to show you my new Zero Vector version 4. Look out for the source code release coming soon. And we'll be back tomorrow at 8 PM, same time, same place. See you next time, guys.
Live